In 2024, Costco generated $250 billion in revenue. That's more than Nike, McDonald's, and Netflix combined. But here's what makes that number insane. They made almost no profit on any of it. Every product you pull off a Costco shelf, every bulk pack of paper towels, every rotisserie chicken, every giant jar of peanut butter, Costco is barely breaking even on all of it. Their product margin is under 3%. At that level, they are essentially running a $250 billion operation at cost. And yet last year, Costco made $4.8 billion in pure profit. So where did it come from? Not from the products. It came from 76 million people who paid Costco just for the right to walk through the door, and 93% of them came back and paid again the following year. This is the story of how Costco built one of the most profitable businesses in retail history by selling products they make almost nothing on. Before we go deep into the winning strategy of Costco, let's start with how an ordinary grocery bagger called Jim Sinegal started this billion-dollar empire. Jim Sinegal didn't start at the top. In 1954, at 18 years old, he was bagging groceries at a discount store in San Diego called FedMart. Not managing, not strategizing, bagging groceries. But FedMart wasn't just any discount store. It was run by a man named Saul Price, and Saul Price saw retail differently than everyone else. Price believed that if you stripped away the markups, eliminated the middlemen, and passed the savings directly to the customer, you could build something that no traditional retailer could compete with. He called it the warehouse club model. And Sinegal, working his way up from bagger to executive vice president, absorbed every piece of that philosophy. By the late 1970s, Price had launched a new venture called Price Club, a members-only warehouse store operating out of a converted airplane hangar in San Diego. Sinegal helped build it, and when he finally left to start his own company in 1983, he didn't reinvent the wheel. He took everything Saul Price had taught him and pushed it further. On September 15, 1983, Jim Sinegal and his co-founder Jeff Brotman opened the first Costco warehouse in Seattle, Washington. No fancy displays, no elaborate store design, just products stacked on pallets in a concrete warehouse priced as low as they could possibly go. In the first 6 years, they hit $3 billion in sales, faster than any retailer in history at that point. Then in 1993, Costco merged with Price Club, the very company where Sinegal had learned the business, creating a combined entity with 206 locations and $16 billion in annual sales. The warehouse club model now had a dominant player, and that player had a very specific philosophy about how a retail business should actually work. One that Wall Street never quite understood, and Sinegal never apologized for. He once told analysts who pushed him to raise prices and fatten margins, "We want to build a company that will still be here 50 and 60 years from now." That wasn't a deflection, that was the strategy. And to understand why it worked, you first have to understand the thing that makes Costco fundamentally different from every other retailer on earth. Here's something that should not make sense. Walmart, one of the most ruthless cost cutters in the history of retail, marks up its products by around 25%. Department stores mark up by 50% or more. Even deep discount retailers are taking a meaningful margin on everything they sell. That's how retail works. You buy low, you sell high enough to cover your costs, and you keep what's left. Costco caps their markup at 11%. On most products, it's even lower than that. They have an internal rule, almost a religion inside the company, that no product can be marked up more than 14% above cost, ever, no exceptions. And on high-volume staples, they push that number as low as they possibly can. What that means in practice is startling. After you factor in the cost of running 800 warehouses across 14 countries, the rent, the utilities, the staff, the logistics, Costco's merchandise operation essentially breaks even. They are moving $250 billion worth of product every year and walking away with almost nothing from it. So ask yourself the obvious question. If you stripped out the membership fees entirely, Costco as a merchandise business would barely exist as a going concern. The products are not the business. The products are the reason people show up, but they are not where the money is made. This is the paradox at the center of everything Costco does. They built one of the largest retail operations in human history and then deliberately engineered it to make no money. Not because they had to, because that was the plan. The money was always going to come from somewhere else. And once you understand where, the whole model clicks into place. So if the products don't make the money, what does? Every year to shop at Costco, you pay a fee. $65 for a standard membership, $130 if you want the executive tier. That's it. That's the business. Those fees generated $4.8 billion in 2024. And because Costco isn't using that money to subsidize a bloated retail operation, because the warehouse business already pays for itself, almost every dollar of that $4.8 billion drops straight to the bottom line. But here's the thing. Charging a membership fee is not by itself a genius idea. Plenty of businesses charge membership fees. The genius is in what Costco does to make sure you never think about canceling, and that starts with a decision they made about how many products to actually sell. Walk into a Walmart and you have 100,000 products to choose from. A regular grocery store carries between 30,000 and 50,000. Walk into a Costco and you have fewer than 4,000. That number is not an accident. It is a deliberate, almost radical act of restraint. Because when you carry fewer than 4,000 products, something powerful happens on the supplier side. Costco becomes the single largest buyer of almost every individual item it carries, and when you are the largest buyer, you dictate the terms, you drive the cost down, and then you pass that cost saving directly to the member. It goes even further than that. Costco buyers each manage fewer than 200 SKUs. Compare that to a typical supermarket buyer managing up to 2,000. That depth of focus means Costco's buyers often know the unit economics of a product better than the supplier does. They know exactly where costs can be cut, and they use that knowledge in every single negotiation. Then there's Kirkland Signature. Launched in 1995, it is one of the most quietly extraordinary business stories in retail. Kirkland products are manufactured by the same companies that make the premium brands. Starbucks roasts the coffee, Duracell makes the batteries, but without the brand markup. The quality has to meet or exceed the name brand equivalent, because if a Kirkland product ever felt like a downgrade, the trust that holds the membership model together starts to crack. In fiscal year 2024, Kirkland Signature generated $86 billion in sales. That is more than Procter & Gamble's total revenue, from a store brand that didn't exist 30 years ago. And then there are the loss leaders, the $4.99 rotisserie chicken, and the most famous one, the $1.50 hot dog and soda combo that has not changed in price since 1985. When Costco's incoming CEO once suggested raising the price, founder Jim Sinegal told him plainly, "If you raise the effing hot dog price, I will kill you. Figure it out." So they figured it out. When supplier costs got too high, they built their own meat processing plants. They switched soda vendors. They engineered the entire supply chain around holding that price. Because the hot dog is not a product, it is a promise. Every time a member buys that $1.50 combo, they are reminded, viscerally, tangibly, that their membership is worth it. The rotisserie chicken works the same way, but with a twist. It is placed at the very back of the warehouse, deliberately, so that every member who comes in just to grab a cheap chicken has to walk past thousands of products to get there, and somewhere along that walk something goes into the cart that wasn't on the list. This is the engine. Razor-thin product margins that make membership feel indispensable, a ruthless SKU limit that creates supplier leverage, a private label brand that generates more revenue than most Fortune 500 companies, and a handful of iconic loss leaders that remind 76 million people, every single visit, exactly why they paid to be here.
None of this would matter if it didn't work. So let's look at what 4 decades of this model has actually produced. In 2015, Costco did $115 billion in revenue. By 2024, that number had grown to $254 billion. That's not the growth of a company grinding through incremental gains. That's a company whose model compounds on itself, because every new member who joins makes the fee pool larger, which funds lower prices, which makes membership more valuable, which brings in more members. The membership numbers tell the clearest story. Costco ended 2024 with 76 million paying members worldwide. Renewal rates in the US and Canada sit above 92%. Think about what that number actually means. Out of every 100 people who join Costco, 92 of them decide, every single year, that the membership is worth paying for again. No contract forcing them to stay. No penalty for leaving. They just keep coming back. And when Costco raised its membership fee in September 2024 for the first time since 2017, members barely blinked. That pricing power, built entirely on trust and delivered value, is something most businesses spend decades trying to manufacture and never achieve. Then there's the fee revenue itself. Membership fees grew at an average of 8% annually over the last 3 fiscal years, outpacing merchandise sales growth of 6.6% over the same period. That gap matters. It means the most profitable part of Costco's business is growing faster than the rest of it. The engine is accelerating. Kirkland's Signature alone would qualify as one of the largest consumer goods companies on earth. $86 billion in sales in fiscal 2024. More than Procter & Gamble, more than Nike, a private label brand sold exclusively inside Costco warehouses that has quietly become one of the most valuable consumer brands in existence. Brand Valuer estimated Kirkland's brand value at $16.2 billion in 2024, putting it in the same conversation as Starbucks, and the stock market has taken note. Costco's share price has outperformed the S&P 500 over the past 2 decades, not because it's a high-growth tech company, not because it's disrupting an industry with software, but because a membership flywheel, run with absolute discipline for long enough, turns out to be one of the most durable business models ever built. Costco is today the 3rd largest retailer in the world. It is the largest retailer of organic food, prime beef, rotisserie chicken, and wine on the planet. It sells more hot dogs than every Major League Baseball stadium in America combined. And it did all of it by making almost nothing on the products it sells. So, what can actually be learned from this? Lesson 1. Profit doesn't have to come from the obvious place. Costco looked at retail and asked a completely different question. What if we charged for access instead of marking up products? Whatever industry you're in, it's worth asking whether you're making money the way everyone else does, simply because that's how it's always been done. Lesson 2. Constraints create power. Carrying fewer than 4,000 products sounds like a limitation. In practice, it was a weapon. Most businesses chase growth by adding more. Costco grew by removing. The discipline to say no is what made them dominant in everything they chose to carry. Lesson 3. Trust is a business model. A 92% renewal rate is the compounded result of decades of never breaking a promise to the member. When customers trust you that deeply, they stop shopping around, and no marketing budget can replicate that. Lesson 4. Strategic underpricing is a long game. The $1.50 hot dog looks irrational on a spreadsheet. But every dollar Costco leaves on the table on a loss leader comes back multiplied through membership renewals. Underpricing, done with discipline, is one of the most powerful tools in business. Lesson 5. How you treat your employees shows up in your numbers. Costco pays above market wages. Wall Street criticized them for it for decades. But low turnover compounds over time into lower costs and better service. Paying people well is almost always cheaper than constantly replacing them.
Every week on Business Breakdown, we take the world's most fascinating company stories, the rises, the collapses, the comebacks, and pull out the lessons that actually matter for entrepreneurs, investors, and anyone building something. If that's the kind of content you want more of, subscribe and hit the bell. It's free, and it might just save your business from making the same mistakes these businesses did.